Hello dear readers, today in this video we will discuss Indian history GK MCQ, and all questions are very important, and this video is in part 2. And if you are new in this channel, please do subscribe the channel and press the notification icon to get the latest update on this channel. So let's get started. And here's the first question: who was the Maratha bishawa who promoted the ideal of Hindu Bara Bashahi? And the correct answer is option A, that is Bajirao. Here, the ideal of Hindu Bara Bashahi or Hindu Empire was propagated by the second Peshawar Bajirao I. He served as a Peshawar of the 5th Maratha Chhatrapati Shahu from 1720 until his death in 1740. Bajirao was a brilliant military strategic and diplomat, and he expanded the Maratha Empire to its greatest extent. And Bajirao's ideal of Hindu Bara Bashahi was not fully realized, but it did help to unite the Hindu Raj and Jat rulers of northern India against the Mongols. The other three Peshawar did not follow the ideal of Hindu Bara Bashahi to the same extent as Bajirao I. Here, Balaji Bajirao 1740 to 1761 and Madhvarao 1761 to 1772 were more focused on expanding the Maratha Empire and consolidating their powers. And Nana Sahib Peshawar 1772 to 1800 was a brilliant administrator, but he was almost more pragmatic and less interested in religious ideology. Next question: in which Mongol emperor's reign did Tulsidas compose his Ramcharitamanas? And the correct answer is option B, that is Akbar. Here, Tulsidas composed his Ramcharitamanas in the reign of Akbar. He began writing the poem in 1574 CE during the 9th day of month of Chaitra, which is the birthday of Rama. Akbar was the third Mongol emperor, and he ruled from 1556 to 1605 CE. He was a tolerant ruler who promoted religious harmony, and he encouraged Tulsidas to write the Ramcharitamanas. The poem is a retelling of Ramayana, an ancient Hindu epic, and it has become one of the most popular religious texts in India. Next question: which empire is referred to as the Forgotten Empire in the book A Forgotten Empire by Robert Sewell? And the correct answer is option D, that is Vijayanagar Empire. Here, the book A Forgotten Empire was Robert Sewell refers to the Vijayanagar Empire. It was a Hindu empire that ruled over much of southern India from the 14th to the 16th century. The empire was founded by Harihar I and Bogharaya I in 1336, and it reached its peaks under Krishnadeva in the 16th century. The empire was eventually conquered by the Deccan Sultanates in 16th century, but its legacy continues to be felt in southern India today. The book A Forgotten Empire was published in 1900, and it was one of the first English language books to provide a comprehensive overview of the Vijayanagar. Next question: who built the Raya Gobarams, the Monumental Gateway in front of the Virpaksha temple in the Hampi and Tirumala Venkateswara temple in Tirupati? And the correct answer is option A, that is Krishnadeva Raya. Here, the monumental Rajagoparam in front of the temple of Hampi and Tirupati were constructed by Krishnadeva Raya, the most famous ruler of the Vijayanagar Empire. He ruled for 1509 to 1529, and during his reign, the empire reached its peak of power and prosperity. The Rajagoparam are a massive gateway that were built to protect the temple and to impress visitors. They are decorated with intricate carvings and sculptures, and they are a testament to the wealth and power of the Vijayanagar Empire. Next question: which Congress president negotiated with both the Cripps missions and Lord Weber? Option B, that is Abul Kalam Azad. Here, Abu Kalam Azad was the Congress president who negotiated with both the Cripps missions and Lord Weber. Azad was a prominent Indian Muslim leader and a close associate of Mahatma Gandhi. She was the president of the Indian National Congress from 1940 to 1946, and she was also the Minister of Education in the first Indian cabinet. The Cripps mission was a British mission to India in 1942 that was led by Sir Stafford Cripps. The mission's goal was to negotiate a settlement between the British and the Indian National Congress that will lead to Indian independence. Lord Wavell was the Viceroy of India from 1943 to 1947. Next question, who chaired the Joint Parliamentary Committee that drafted the Government of India Act of 1935? And the correct answer is option D, that is Lord Lindley. Here the chairman of the Joint Parliamentary Committee 1935 that led to the framing of the Government of India Act of 1935 was Lord Lindley. Lord Lindley was a British politician who served as the Viceroy of India from 1936 to 1943. He was a member of the Conservative Party, and he was appointed by Viceroy by Prime Minister Stanley Baldwin. And the Government of India Act of 1935 was a landmark piece of legislation that granted greater self-government to India. The Act was drafted by the Joint Military Committee, which was chaired by Lord Lindley. The Act was passed by the British Parliament in 1935, and it came into effect in 1937. The Government of India Act of 1935 was a major step forward in the road to Indian independence. It gave Indians more control over their own affairs, and it paved the way for the eventual independence of India. The next question, against which Dewan of Travancore did the Congress in Travancore launch a civil disobedience movement in 1938? Correct answer is option A, that is Sir C.B. Ramaswamy Iyer. Here, the Congress in Travancore launched a civil disobedience movement against the Dewan of Travancore state, Sir C.B. Ramaswamy Iyer. Sir C.B. Ramaswamy Iyer was a Brahmin from Madras who was appointed Dewan of Travancore in 1936. He was a strong supporter of the British Raj, and he was opposed by the Indian independence movement. She also introduced a number of reforms that were seen as discriminatory against the lower caste in Travancore. The Congress in Travancore launched the civil disobedience movements in 1938 in protest against the Dewan policies. The movement was led by Devi Keswa Menu and B.D. Jacob. The movement was successful in forcing the Dewan to resign in 1939. Next question, in whose memory was the city of Junabur founded? Correct answer is option number C, that is Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Here, the city of Junabur was founded in the memory of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the third Sultan of the Delhi Sultanate. Muhammad bin Tughlaq was the son of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, the founder of the Tughlaq dynasty. He was a capable ruler who expanded the Delhi Sultanate to its greater extent. And Junabur was founded in 1359 CE on the banks of the Umdi River. It was named after Muhammad bin Tughlaq's son Jona Khan. Junabur quickly became a major commercial and cultural center. It was also a center of Islamic learning, and it was home to several important madrasas. Next question, which committee was appointed by the British government to investigate the Jallianwala Bagh massacre in 1919? Correct answer is option D, Hunter Commissions. Here, the committee appointed by the British government to investigate the Jallianwala Bagh massacre was the Hunter Commission. It was headed by the Lord Hunter, a British judge, and it was tasked with investigating the events of April 13, 1919, when British troops opened fire on a peaceful gathering of unarmed Indians in Jallianwala Bagh, Amritsar. The Hunter Commission concluded that General Ringland Dyer, the British officer who ordered the firing and acted in excess of his authority. However, the commission also found that Dyer had acted in good faith, and it did not recommend that he be punished. And the Jallianwala Bagh massacre was a horrific event that claimed the lives of hundreds of innocent people. The Hunter Commission's report was a whitewashed and it did not do justice to the victims of it. Next question, who was the highest rural authority for land revenue in the Sultanate period? Here, the highest rural authority of land revenue in the Sultanate period was the Chaudhary. The Chaudhary was a hereditary official who was responsible for collecting land revenue from the peasants in his village. He was also responsible for maintaining law and order in the village and for ensuring that the Sultan's law were upheld. And the Chaudhary was appointed by the Sultan by his local representative, by Subedar. He was usually a member of village elite, and he was often a relative of the Sultan or the Subedar. The Chaudhary rule in the Sultanate land revenue system was essential. He was responsible for collecting the revenue that the Sultanate needed to support his military and administrative approaches. And he also played a role in maintaining law and order in the village. So thank you for watching the videos, and if you like the videos and gain something from this video, please do subscribe the channel and press the notification icon to the latest update on this.